Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. I am excited beyond measure to have some very special guests on with me today. We're going to be hearing from Joel Johnson, Ken.
How's it going?
Hey, Joel.
Hey.
Ken Canyon. Hey.
Hey there.
And we're also going to be hearing from Professor Dr. Kiba Richmond Green, who is working behind the scenes to get some things coordinated to pop on here with us. But I don't want to delay because I think that today's show is going to be so profound. We're talking about marriage today. Marriage from the perspective of how we can have our marriages last forever. That was a catchy title. Forever starts today. And actually, Selwyn Davis, who does all of my graphic work, he and his wife, Cassandra Davis, came up with that title. I said, well, just put something nice on the flyer. And they marriage forever starts today. I'm like, what? I would have never thought that. So anyway, as you guys are jumping on, I want to do a few housekeeping announcements to let you know to go ahead and share your broadcast wherever you're watching it. Whether you're watching it, can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. You said share it?
Yes. Go to my Facebook page, Kim Jacobs, and just share it to your friend circle. Then that way your audiences are also on watching at the same time.
Okay, Kim.
And I'll look and see if it's happening on my end. And for everyone that's watching in the studio audience today, make sure you take a moment right now to share the broadcast. I want to do a few housekeeping announcements to let you know to go ahead and somebody hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you. Yes. You said you share it? Yes. Okay, here we have Professor Kiba Richmond Green. She's not ready yet. Okay. So make sure everyone go ahead and share the broadcast, and then we'll go ahead and jump right in with the formal introductions. I don't want anybody to miss any part of the Jacobs Show. I encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to the show, make sure you do so. Tell your friends, your family, turn on your notifications and all that good stuff so that we can have lots of people benefiting from the information that's happening in the Kim Jacobs Show. Let me also let you know that it's my goal as the Balance Doctor to provide information that's going to be helpful to every viewer, whether it be from cradle to grave or even beyond. So if I believe that it's something that's going to benefit you and your family or any component or aspect of your lives and hats that you wear, I am going to bring it on the Kim Jacobs Show. So we know that marriage is important, and I see that people have started sharing. Okay, and I don't think it's any glitching. Let me check.
I got you shared, Kim.
Yes.
I got you shared live. You're live on my Facebook right now. So.
Okay, good. So perfect. Everything working out. I like to make sure it doesn't glitch. All right, guys. So we are going to get started with today's episode, which is going to be action-packed. Let's start here with Ken. Ken has been motivating people for over 20 years. He's a personal development coach, a branding expert who specializes in human behavior. Ken's expertise encompasses helping corporate leaders, entrepreneurs create powerful brands and teach them how to market their brand in a crowded marketplace. As a cutting-edge entrepreneur and marketing guru, Ken does not just talk business, he lives it. He is the founder of 3 successful grassroots companies that have been featured in Black Enterprise, Source, and Essence magazines. He has also been highlighted on CNN, QVC, and the Home Shopping Network. He has also been featured on multiple reality shows, and you may know him as one of the contestants from The Biggest Loser, contestant during season number 3. But for 2 decades, he's devoted himself to transforming people's lives from the inside out because of his books, which he sold over 500,000 books on social, through seminars, social media. He is known as a transformation specialist. But not only that, he is married to Karen Canyon, and we know her as Simply Net. She is a comedian, an entrepreneur, a force to be reckoned with. And literally, one of the funniest female comedians I have ever in my life heard. So together they're called the Grand Canyons. Welcome, Ken, one half of the Grand Canyon.
Glad to be here. I'm so excited about the show today. Thank you. I was wondering. I was like, whose introduction is that?
You've been dropping behind the scene in the green room. I had to tell him, wait, don't say that because I want the audience to hear it.
Thank you so much, man.
I'm really excited that you're on today. And now let's make sure that I introduce my next panelist, which is Mr. Joel Johnson. He is the president of Johnson Ministries. Joel Johnson has spoken before more than 2 million people in over 20 nations around the world. He was the keynote speaker at Acquire the Fire. Acquire the Fire conference.
Yeah, just received that, Kim.
Huh?
I said, just received that. Also worker.
Over 15 years, he's been doing these Acquire the Fire conferences. You can imagine that. A best-selling author, coach, and co-host of Messy Life podcast. Joel was a professor at Belmont University in Nashville, teaching master-level courses in communication and leadership. Prior to this, Joel co-hosted Acquire the Fire conferences for 12 years, where nearly 200,000 people were in attendance at different events. His passion is communication, prowess, and side-splitting humor that he has kept him as one of the nation's foremost speakers. I love talking about you guys individually, even though you're married, because it shows what you bring to your marriage. And then also I'm going to be doing a show with you and your spouses individually. But Joel started speaking when he was 14. And so he has spoken to your family. That's the good part. We're family people. So Ken, clearly based on your facial expression, that those barks are coming from your side of the family.
No, they're coming from mine. Because we quarantined. I mean, this is just how we roll in it. I mean, it is family.
See, that's why you can't always judge a book by its cover, because see, Ken was like, oh boy, but it wasn't even him. It was you, Joe.
No, we have 3 dogs. I'm
Okay.
kids and 3 dogs.
And see, that's funny because you kept a straight face and we're all like, where's that coming from?
Well, let me just tell you this. It has not been the first time that it's happened that I've been on YouTube or live. So, we just roll with it.
And the funny thing is, I'm glad Ken's wife's not on right now, because
then standing in the background.
I can tell.
That's what I was looking at.
I knew you were looking at. So tell Simply Net she's welcome. Pop on at any time. She's always welcome. But I'm also going to do a separate show with the two of you.
I got you.
Chime in, pull the chair up, and pull her in right beside you and let her talk. Because I know she does not want you to just represent her by
she doesn't mind. She's got our grandkids today. She's good.
Okay. Anyway, so Joel started speaking. I told you that 2 million people in over 20 nations. Additionally, Joel has traveled speaking with such bands as Switchfoot, Mercy Me, Flyleaf, Amy Grant, Newsboys, Skillet, Leland, Third Day, Super Chick, K, Tree 63, Petra, Gospel Gangsters, and the Jeremy.
Gospel Gangsters.
My God.
Gospel Gangsters.
He's a BS in political science from the University of Texas, and at Tyler, and a Juris Doctorate from Texas A&M University. He is married to Casey Johnson, so that's where the Joel and Casey Johnson component comes in, and they have 2, right?
Yeah, we have 2.
2 dynamic children. All right. So he's authored many books as well. You're going to learn more about Mr. Joel Johnson. Welcome.
Yeah, but I haven't sold 500,000 like Ken has. So I'm still trying to get his business card. So we.
It's been a few years too, though. I mean, it's been a few years. So
but you can attribute that success to something. So in a nutshell, before we start talking about marriage, what would you attribute your success to, Ken, in being able to sell that many books?
I would attribute the success to, number one, besides faith. Let's take that as a given. But I am willing to take imperfect action. See, most people are unwilling to take imperfect action. And so it's always got to be perfect. So my thing is, if I see you and everything's not necessarily right circumstances, I'm still going to ask. I'm still going to jump right in. And so I attribute that to perseverance and being willing to take imperfect action.
I love it. I love that. Okay, let's see. Is my Professor Kiba Green in there? Are you here, Professor?
Not quite sure.
Okay, Professor Green, you have to text me and let me know when you're ready because I see you in a vehicle. I know you're being socially responsible, but I don't know what's happening. So you have to let me know when you're ready. Let me look and see. Okay, I'll just text her and say, let me know when you want to come on because I'm not. Let me know when to pull you in because I think she's in a car.
Right.
To pull you in because I don't really know. I told you I need my assistant that helps me in order to manage all of these different hats. And this goes right to what you're saying, Ken, which is sometimes dealing with imperfections when you're trying to do things in a whole stay-at-home situation and you're used to being in the studio and then you're wearing multiple hats. It's a lot of different factors that could discourage you from moving forward. But I refuse.
That's what I'm talking about.
So, I will.
Here's the thing. I think we're all in a state where we are more humane as far as in business culture. You just got to do a Zoom call. Your kid's going to come in. Your dog's going to bark. And so I think it has elevated us from being the sterility of professionalism to being humans. That is an elevation. I think everybody out there watching is right on board with that. We all quarantine. We just trying to make it through. So
that's right. That's right. And I agree with you. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our topic today, which is focusing on marriage. Again, Joel Johnson and Ken Canyon both have spouses that I'll do individual shows with. So you'll get to know the other half of their lives as well when we do the individual show. I will show you on Joel Johnson. If I can go ahead and share this right quick, I'm going to show you Joel Johnson, a little bit about him. Yeah, right here, and I'm going to share that. Tell me if you can see it. This is joeljohnson.org. Take a look at his page here. They're coming up. Okay.
There we go.
That's a good-looking guy there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, if you scroll down to the bottom of joeljohnson.org, there's
a video that I'm going to show you. This is the video you had sent me, right, Joel?
Yeah, that's it. And any of your viewers can go to joeljohnson.org, and it's right there on the homepage. And as we all know, our internet bandwidth is a little bit slower during COVID-19.
Oh, yeah. So, I was like, wait, I played this easily yesterday when I tested.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it loaded very quickly when I went on. So anyway, right now people can still see you. So while it's loading, just let's talk a little bit, Joel.
Yeah, sure.
If you would, please tell people what is your marriage and family coach. So tell people what that is so they'll understand what perspective you bring.
Yeah, well, not only am I a speaker and a communicator, but I also coach families and marriages. And so what that is, a coach is a little different than a therapist. A therapist like Kiba, Professor Green, who will be on, really deals with the present to the past. A coach deals with and I think we're on now. Do you want to switch to that? We can come back to it. Let's see if it.
Yes, I want to hit play now.
Okay.
So what I'm getting ready to show you is a brief clip of an event that Joel and Casey recently did, talking about the emotionally healthy marriage. And I'd like for you guys to see that brief clip.
You'd feel it in the house. Everything okay? Yeah, everything's okay. It was like we'd walk around, microwaving metal, inside of us. Something's wrong, How are you doing today? Everything's fine. Really? Everything's fine? Yes. Some of you are married to a person just like that. So put us together and guess what you're going to get?
Yes.
Okay, we're just going to be vulnerable and just kind of open up, and you're going to see all of our mess. Is that okay this morning?
I went to Joel and I was like, Joel, do you feel like I'm teachable in our marriage?
Y'all, I didn't say nothing. I mean, I said like something, but it wasn't like you couldn't understand. I was like, no.
And I go in the living room ready to talk it out. And he is like sound asleep on the couch.
Then I had to work in the morning, y'all.
I was fuming. I wanted to dump a bucket of ice cold water on his head and be like, we ain't letting the sun go down on our anger.
That's right.
She is such an excellent arguer. Can I just say that? I had to go to law
Way to go,
school so that
Casey.
I would win a few. I'm truthful. I had to win a few arguments.
It's just because women, we remember everything, right? I'm like, I remember 14 years ago when you said this. We like remember
And I'm
amazing
like,
memories.
Yeah, I'm hungry right now. Maybe you're in here today and your marriage is boring or bruised or it's broken. Right? Who wants to be in a boring marriage, right? That it was never meant to be boring.
Yeah.
Today, your marriage can be restored. Your marriage can be renewed. That your marriage can be put back together. That you could be excited about your marriage once again. That you could have an amazing, healed marriage where you were talking words of divorce. Now you're talking vacation plans. Now things are beginning to change. Things are beginning to be renewed in this room right now. Things are beginning to be renewed in overflow right now. Things are beginning to be renewed in marriages right now at Arrowhead Campus. Those of you online right now, that God's word to receive it is beginning to change it.
Wow.
That was fantastic.
That was wonderful. Okay, so we're going to go back and yes. So now we're back. Yes.
Awesome. Well,
That was awesome.
yeah. Well, thank you. It is my pleasure and passion to see lives grow in wholeness, to see marriages grow in wholeness, and to see families put back in whole states. And so that's one of the things that I do. I coach. I deal with the present to the future, and we move marriages forward. We move families forward. We move people forward. And I came from a background, single parent. Mom grew up on welfare. Poor. And so I feel like it was a difficulty in my life, but it also was a gift in my life that it allowed me to recognize and be intentional in growing my relationship. First of all, doing my work. Second of all, when I got married with my spouse, my wife, Casey, and then in our family with our kids. And so if you're stuck in any of those relationships, man, I love to bring people forward, to coach them. And if you want coaching, or if that's something where you feel like, man, one of my relationships is stuck, at joeljohnson.org, you can definitely go there /coaching. And we'd love to help you in any way that we can.
I love it. Now I'm going to introduce Kiba Richmond. Are you here, Kiba? Are you here? Can you hear us? You have to unmute your mic. So we can see you, but your mic is muted. So you have to let me see. Can you hear us? Professor Green? She's smiling, but we don't know who can hear you. So, okay, so I don't know. I'm going to move that back down one more minute. So what I want to do is go into questions, because a lot of people are asking questions. I wanted to ask some of the audience questions to make sure that we get a chance to answer some of those. One question that someone asked, and this happens in the studio audience here, people want to know, like a couple that I know, there are a couple of marriages that I know have dissolved during this time of pandemic. Can you speak to that, either of you as panelists? What advice you would give to couples?
Well, here's the advice I would say. Now, the truth of the matter is, it's kind of like what they say about money. Simply, the more money you get, it just simply exposes who you are. Exposes, if you're you're a giving person, the more money you get, the more giving you'll be. If you're selfish, the more selfish you'll be. I think what during this time, COVID-19 it simply revealed what was already there. A lot of times what we do is, because we can get distracted with things, We mask our lives with the things that we're doing, the things we're trying to accomplish. Thus, there are distractions there. I'm never forced to deal with core issues that are preventing us from growing. COVID-19, what it has done, it has made us come face to face with who we are as individuals, who we are as a couple. And my wife and I, we started the whole COVID-19 stay at home. I made us a gym out in the yard. We're like, so I'm gonna show you some of those videos. They're funny. They're funny because she didn't really, but I was like, look, let's take this time to become more intimate. And intimacy is never about sex. Intimacy is about communication. It is about question asking. It is about finding the heart of the person that you're with. And so now we're simply becoming more intimate, and we're finding the heart of the people that we're with. And I think it's just revealing a lot of things that were already there. It's just magnified 100 times.
So you said intimacy is not about sex. It is about what?
Communication. It is about asking questions, finding the heart of the person who you're with.
I love that. Okay. Intimacy is not about sex. It's about communication, finding the heart of the person that you're with. Did you want to speak to that as well, Joel?
Yeah, well, I think we have more time than we've ever had, and we are on top of each other, so to speak. You know, our whole families, you know, my 3 dogs are piling on as well. We're all there.
Right.
And so you've got to deal with things, just like Ken was saying, you've got to deal with issues that you have not had to deal with before. And it exposes things that you can mask with other things. So I think this time more than any other time, we're either going to see more divorces than we've ever seen before because it's exposing so much, or probably the most amount of children born in one single season at the same time. So we'll probably see both of those things. But one of the things that I felt like more than anything would be all of the stresses that we're now facing. I think just fear itself, the unknown, you know, the question marks, all the anxiety that brings. One of the things that Casey, my wife, and I did is we thought, okay, what can we do during this time? And so we created the social distancing date night challenge. Yes. So 3 nights where couples can come together and you can walk through a small little teaching, a small little interaction. Mostly it's Casey and I, just like you saw in that video, kind of making fun of ourselves, normalizing just the arguments and differences in marriage. And then we have some worksheets and some night activities where couples are going through these activities and these free downloads. So we made it all for free. It's all on joeljohnson.org/date night. So couples all around the country have been going on our YouTube site. We premiered them. So we were live chatting during those times we premiered them. But you can go on there right now. You can download the 3 dates and really focus on the other person in your life. Create, like Ken said, that intimacy and really work through those things so that as we leave COVID-19, we can leave stronger, more energized, more excited about our marriages. And so there's 3 quarantine dates, really fun quarantine dates that will move your marriage forward. And again, that's on joeljohnson.org/date night. It's all free.
/date night. So joeljohnson.org/date night. Let me.
Yep. And so you can join the social distancing date night challenge. It's those 3 dates, and people have been doing it all over the country. We've had about 1,000 people involved already during this time, and we'd love for it to be a resource that gets into your hands. Okay. And it's absolutely free. So please check it out and take the challenge.
Definitely so.
I love it.
A lot of people are going to take the challenge. So you got lots of viewers on here, and I'm sure people are like, contact me. People are telling you, Ken, I'm driving. Can he contact me? I'm like, I don't know that he's going to call you personally, but they'll reach out. And then his wife, Simply Ned, will be like, stick her head in, no. But they'll respond to your communication on here. I'm sure later go back and make sure you all check the comments. Sure. people are saying things. What are some different ways that you can communicate with your spouse? And either of you can answer that as well. That's coming from one of my viewers. Guys that are out here in my studio audience, I normally post your comments on the show, but for some reason right now, Facebook and this software that I use, they're officially not able to show the integration some kind of way. So please just bear with us. But guess what? Your questions are going to be answered because I'm going to see them and share them with the panel. So that question comes from Michaela Hayes, which says, what are some different ways you can communicate with your spouse?
So I got to tell you guys this. So let me tell you what my wife and I do. So we started this whole social media thing. We've been helping couples for a long time. My wife and I, we always say we don't always agree with each other, but we always love each other.
Right.
And so we started this thing called Pillow Talk. And she swears that I am the question king, what if king. And so the Pillow Talk all started one day when I would ask her a question. And I'm like, it would just be off the wall. And so we started videoing these questions. And so what happened was, and they would be crazy questions, but I thought they had validity.
Without it being too raunchy.
Okay, no, what real raunchy. So I said, okay, so let me give you an example. I said, matter of fact, I'm going to do it. We turned it into a game. I'm going to do it from one of our game questions.
Oh, cool. Wait, let me add Professor Green in real quick. Hey, Professor Eva.
It's like those faces. It's like,
it's like a Bloops and Blunders show thing, right? I don't know.
I felt like she was so disapproving of everything you were saying. I felt like I was in the principal's office. Sorry, Professor. I'm sorry.
It's such a joy. So once she comes on, it'll be so much fun for her to be a part of it.
Oh,
anyway, tell us about the game.
So what we did was I would ask these questions every night. So we started taking the videos. And she was like, I was like, because I never wanted to do videos. We've been helping couples, but I never wanted to do them. So I was like, all right, turn the camera on. So we turned the camera on, and I would ask questions like, okay, let me ask you a question. So I would say, okay, your boo asked you to get married, but you can't afford an engagement ring.
Right.
Do you, A, get married anyway? Okay. B, wait until they have enough money to get one. C, decide he or she is too broke to get married. Or D, let them borrow the money to purchase the ring. And so what happened was it became so popular, and we started communicating, Joel. I started asking these questions, but I started learning more about her thought process. Now, we've been married for a long time. I'm like, you really believe that? Like we had a discussion the other day, and so she said, why don't you turn it and do something with it, turn it into a game? You don't have to tell me but once. I turned it into a game. We started selling them all over the country. We sold hundreds of them. But we sold it under the premise of this. People are married, but they're not communicating. You don't know who you're married. Really so what these questions do, they ask funny questions, serious questions. It's a way that you get to know the person in a fun way, a serious question. And so now I can play this question if I'm married, if I'm a couple, or if I'm getting to know someone, I can play it. And so now that's what we do to communicate. We do it all day long. I'm the what if king. And so that's how we start communicating with each other.
What if Pillow Talk?
It's called Pillow Talk. And you go on our YouTube, you can see them. And you go on our website, thegrandcanyons.com, click on our YouTube page, you can see the Pillow Talks that we had when we started. And that's how that's how we started communicating about deeper issues. The other night, I got to ask you this one, Kim, Joel, your opinion. So, Quick question. Let's say, we're about to get married, right? And I give you an engagement ring. Okay, we break up. No one cheated. We break up. We just realized that we're not growing together. Should I ask for that ring back, or would you give it back, Kim? What do you say, Joel? Am I entitled to the ring back, or you let her keep it, or what?
Hey! It just first of all, it depends how much it's worth. That's going to be the first thing, you know. I mean, because of this cubic zirconium, you better have it. That's what you're going to do. You're going to say, you know, I just appreciate you as a person. I want you to have that. You do whatever you want to do. Now, if it's 5 figures or above, then I would suggest you should always ask. I did go to law school, so you should always ask. And and then depending, I would just ask, but that would be as far as I would go.
Well, with me, I would definitely say that. First of all, a gift is a gift, so no Indian giving. I'm sorry, you gave this to me as a gift, and then now it's mine to do what I want with it. Especially now in these times, you might have to go to the pawn. People might have to go pawn some stuff to pay some bills, whatever. Who knows what the deal is? So I'll probably. But if they got
legally, it's hers. I mean, legally, it is hers, and it's been given and granted. But if I was your counsel, if I was counseling you as in a legal way, I would say you should at least ask.
You notice how Joel puts on his lawyer hat when
Right.
he's talking about that?
Yeah.
Let me bring Dr. Kiba in. Let's see if Dr. Kiba. Let me bring Dr. Can you hear us? Kiba?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yay! But I can't see you.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me? Yes.
I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. So you're driving somewhere?
You can hear me?
Okay.
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Yay!
Yay!
I can see you.
Oh my goodness. That was crazy.
You're driving somewhere?
Yeah, I'm about to be stopped in just a second. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me though? Can you hear me well?
It's an echo. So once you stop and pull over somewhere,
Can you hear me well?
not that well like that. So I'm gonna put you back out, and whenever you're situated, let me know and bring you back in. Okay. So we're gonna keep it moving. I want to go ahead and show the Grand Canyons. Which one of these videos should I? Let me show the Grand Canyon.
It depends. It doesn't matter. Which videos do you have?
Well, let's see. I have.
Yeah, let's check this out.
Oh, I know a video you can show. Are you on our website?
Well, right now, yeah, I'll go to the website, which I already have the website up, but I went to YouTube too. So let me go back and
Go to the website.
And while you're searching it, hey, if you haven't been to Ken's social, like any of his social platforms, it is so fantastic, so hilarious. If you need a smile on your face, head to Ken's social because it's 100.
Well, I love when I went to his website, to him and Simply Net's website, I was like, oh, I love them. They are like so much fun. Okay.
So go to videos.
But first of all, can y'all see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I gotta show the whole, the Grand Canyons. They are raw, real, relatable. We are the Grand Canyons. We are relationship coaches who have helped many couples and singles create more fulfilling relationships. We are raw, real, and relatable, and our goal is to help couples who want to build relationships and singles who aspire to attain a happy, healthy relationship. Now go where?
Go up to videos, click on the videos.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Does the drop down come down?
Your wife, though, she's so dramatic, y'all, and she's a real comedian, so it's not a joke. When I do the show,
hold on, go back. I'm trying to find the one video, a promotional video that the whole Pillow Talks is how we started right over here. She's just look.
Oh, when we hit play on that,
no, I don't care. I mean, it's all right. But I wanted to show you another video. Quickly, if you can find it.
It's the promo video.
The promo video.
Yeah, that's
under coaching. Is it under coaching?
That's under coaching, I think. I
think it's under coaching.
Okay, yeah, I'll go back up to that because I definitely. And booking a discovery session is something that you definitely would like to do with the Canyons. So let's watch now.
I think that's. I don't.
Oh, huh? Not this?
I definitely recommend the Grand.
Is that what you want me to say?
No, I'll have to find it. I thought it was under videos or speaking. And the funny, if you click on speaking, I just want to see. Oh, there. Okay, relationship tour. The relationship tour. Click. You see, right? Go down to the moment of truth.
Okay, okay.
Oh, there we go.
And you giving me too much work over here. I
I'm
told
sorry.
you.
That video. This is a live event that we did where we bring couples and singles together where they can speak their truth about relationships.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, here, let's play that for a second.
So many people are masquerading. They're saying a relationship is good, but they're more concerned with looking good than the relationship actually being good.
That's the bottom line.
Imagine a place where you can feel free to say anything
We have a full house everywhere. Here we go.
about your current or past relationship, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and have fun saying it.
Women need to know their own bodies. You should know what curves, you need to know positions. Play with yourself a little bit and learn yourself. Because you need to understand that. Because even if I had a big penis, it still could be discomfort. It still could be just not good. I've had
She's like, oh God. He's like, why are you saying this?
Talk show that combines food, comedy, music, and candid conversation. It provides a fun, entertaining, and empowering environment to discuss the complexities of modern-day relationships. It gives you a unique opportunity to act as a therapist, a counselor, or maybe a coach, and give advice based on your individual experience and perspective.
You should feel a connection first. The connection is going to lead to communication. After communication is going to start the companionship. When you get to that point, the past doesn't matter. I am no longer the person that I was 15 years ago. That's not the one that you're moving forward with. Doesn't matter at all.
It's a new era of entertainment and empowerment for single people, married people, divorced, or those who simply say it's complicated. Provoking people to speak candidly and solving their problems in the process is our goal.
That's great.
Well, I love this. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
That's my wife. Boy, I'm glad you turned it off right there.
Wait, no. I didn't know she was going to start talking.
I'm glad you turned it off.
Started off before she started talking.
Huh?
I didn't know she was getting ready to start talking.
She was about to say something real hilarious.
Oh wait, I have to go back then. I'm sorry. I have to.
About me, I guess.
Okay, hold on. I gotta go back. Give me a second.
You don't have to.
Oh yeah, I want to because she's a funny lady. So we're going there. Okay.
You get some old real, and this old big burly man and muscle man roll up on you and be like, "No, she a freak, ain't she?" You gonna be like, "Hey, you got me back here at the real."
Relationship hosted by the grand.
That's funny. Well, anyway, I am. I know that it's going to be a great show when we have you and your wife on as well. Let me bring Dr. Kiva Richmond Green in. How are you, Dr. Green? I have tried. Can you? Hi. Okay. I can't hear you. Okay, you have to mute your phone. Well, it's not for a lack of trying.
We tried.
We tried hard.
We tried.
But okay, I want to make sure I get some more Professor Green, whatever. I don't know. Okay, so, and I'm not a good faker. I can't fake through. I'm like, I don't know.
Hey, I do have a challenge though. I want to go on a double date with the Canyons. That's what I want to do.
We would love it. My wife and I would love for you to go on a double date.
Yeah, it would be, and we'll film it. We'll put it. We will come back on the show. We will film it because, man, you two are once in a lifetime. You guys, you're like the alter us.
Yes. We have fun.
Like brothers and sisters from different nationalities. Yeah, y'all would have a good time. Let me ask some more audience questions. What advice do you give couples with kids about strengthening their relationship? Sometimes couples can't do anything without their kids, and once they're empty nesters, they don't know how to really communicate. So I can't see the full comment, but okay. So yeah, then they don't know how to communicate as well with one another. That question came from Shelby Brown McDowney. Can you guys answer that?
Go ahead, Joel.
You know, I think one of the greatest things that you can ever do is to learn about yourself, first of all. Like the key to having a whole relationship is being whole yourself. You know, like it's not two broken people don't make a whole relationship, or two halves of a heart don't make a whole heart. It takes two whole hearts that come together to create a whole relationship. So the very first thing I think is discovering yourself. And even something like Myers-Briggs will help you know how you're psychologically wired. You can take a free test at 16personalities.com. They don't ask me, I don't get any endorsements for that. It's just a great test. And if couples will take the time to learn about themselves and who they are, then they'll be able to understand and relate, especially in the areas of their personalities where they have friction. And in our second date on the social distancing date night challenge, we walk you through how you can begin to understand why he does that and why she does that. And you come together, you understand those things. And the greatest thing about a test like that is that it creates vulnerability in the relationship. Because oftentimes we come into relationships or into marriages and we think it's either my way or their way. And really there's a third way. It's called, I call it the third way, because it's not his way or her way. It's the journey from me to we. It's the learning to think that there is a togetherness and a oneness, and that happens through vulnerability.
Yes.
Vulnerability can only happen when you come to the place to say, I have strengths and I have weaknesses.
Right.
When you're able to be vulnerable and move from just what is called predictive trust by behavioral trust to a vulnerability-based trust, that sets the tone for trust in your marriage. Move from marriage of your dreams can only be built on a foundation of trust. So I know I just dumped a lot of information there.
That's good. I captured it and I put it out too. The third way is going from me to we, finding out who they are for themselves first through like a Myers-Briggs test or something, and self-discovery. That's some good information.
Then coming together, learning why where your friction places happen, where they occur. And when you can figure out that, and you all of a sudden say, oh, he's just not being selfish or a jerk, but that's actually how he's psychologically wired.
Right.
When you start understanding that, you begin to look at it not as a weakness, but as a strength in their life that adds to your marriage and your family. Once you can own your own weaknesses and your partner owns their weaknesses, that creates a space for hearts to walk around naked, so to speak, to be vulnerable. And then when you can be vulnerable, that's when the deepest trust can be formed. And once trust is formed, then you can move all the way to the results that you want to see in your marriage and any relationship.
I love it. Did you want to say anything to that as well, Ken?
What do you say after that?
No, I thought the same thing. I was like, who knows? I don't know.
What do you say after that?
So,
being completely vulnerable. Okay, so
that is Ken said it in the beginning. That is the key to intimacy. Like if you are I love what Ken says on his social. He says, don't allow the representative to show up for you. Like don't put the person out there that you want to be, but it's behind those walls of vulnerability of who you really are.
Right.
It sounds weak. It even feels weak, but you want to put glue in your marriage relationship. It's when you can be vulnerable and your other partner gives you a safe space to be vulnerable, and then you reciprocate that vulnerability. Oh my gosh, You guys are going to be so intimate, and all my brothers that are out there watching, you are going to be so sexually active as well in your marriage. That is the key to it all. Insane.
I love it. I love it.
Told them. Yeah, there you go.
So right now I've been posting their information again, joeljohnson.org, which is date night /date night is how you'll get into those tucked away, stay at home, fun challenges that are happening with Joel and Casey Johnson. And then you're also going to be able to get some really fun Grand Canyon treatment with a discovery session and those pillow talk games with the Grand Canyons at thegrandcanyons.com. Now I'm going to bring Kiba in. Hello, Dr. Green. Okay, so what's going to happen is, Dr. Green, we're going to have, I know you can hear me, you're saying we're going to have you on a show because what I'll be doing is bringing in various panels. I have several other relationship experts that are coming in to speak about the topics of singleness as well as marriage from a variety of other perspectives, because all people relate to different people differently. So some people want spiritual counseling, other people want secular counseling. I have all kinds of panelists that will be coming on. So Dr. Green, I'll bring you back on as a panelist for one of the other shows that are coming up. It's not working out this way. Okay.
Sorry, I was a little distracted. I just I was purchasing the Pillow Talk game of Ken. So
oh man.
Yeah. You need to get yours today.
And how did they purchase the Pillow Talk games?
It's actually called the Moment of Truth.
It's the Moment of Truth.
Yeah, it's called the Moment of Truth game. And if you go to our store and scroll down, you can get. We have two versions. So real quickly, we did the classic version that sold out. This is my personal one. And then we created a sex version of it. So what happens is couples or people going to get married, now you know what they think about sex too. So we do both versions.
Okay, so it's the Moment of Truth game on thegrandcanyons.com in the store.
Yes.
And that's where you can get the game. And it's so much fun for couples to play games.
Yes.
I mean, we play games just with like our family with table topics, but those are just generic questions. Like this whole game, like
Ken's second game isn't meant for the family table talk.
No,
it is not. The second game is not meant for the family table talk.
Yeah, hold on, Ken. I'm going to be getting that second game. I wish I would have known that before. I'm going to have to give up.
Purchase the other game. Talk about sex for a little bit for a second. I mean, sex is very important in marriage too. So talk to that from a panelist expert perspective.
Well, I let me just say this, and I'll let Joel jump in. I'll say this, that first of all, you got to understand that you have two things going on here. The way females see sex and the way males see sex. I'm just talking about heterosexual relationships. Number one, we're all like sex. Men are wired more for sex because of, not so much because we're men, but because of the testosterone that we have in our bodies.
Right.
The truth of the matter is women like sex too, but they both view sex differently. And what I tell people when we coach, I put it in simple terms. Here it is. I say men give intimacy to get sex, and women give sex to get intimacy. And I said, think about it. Because what we're doing primarily is fulfilling.
Wait, stop for a second. Men give sex for
what? Men give intimacy to get sex. Intimacy, the closeness, the hugging, the touching, the adoring. Okay. And women give sex to get intimacy.
Oh, women give sex.
That's profound. That's great, Ken.
So if you think about it, what it is we need. See, a man, number one, besides the raw physical desire for sex, what he truly desires is respect. He wants to be respected, and he wants to be commended, appreciated for what he does. A woman wants to be adored. She wants to be loved. So it all makes sense in what we desire, what we want from a physical standpoint. And so if the person that you're with, if you're in a marriage and you understand that my wife wants to be adored, she wants intimacy, she wants caress and caring, she wants me to find out who she is, then I give her that. She'll give me as much sex as I need because I'm meeting a need of hers in the process. And so when I'm coaching men, I'm like, look, here's what happens. Here's what you got to understand. The law of reciprocity works. That which you give to someone else, if they believe you've given it in earnest, they'll give it back to you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how I look at sex.
Well, my husband's always said in years, throughout many years, is that you get what you incubate. So if you incubate love, you get love. If you incubate something that is bringing out a foul thing out of your spouse, then it's because you incubated that situation.
Absolutely.
So that's real good.
So that's my take on sex.
Let me see some more questions that have come in. So Christians are calling it quits even when they know it isn't God's will. How do you encourage them to do what God expects?
Joel, you the pastor. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, let me put on the pastor hat here real quick. First of all, man, you want to fight for a marriage. Like you want to fight for your marriage. And the most difficult thing about a marriage is that you have to live for somebody else's benefit. Like that, if I could say, is the encapsulation of love. You are living now for someone else's benefit. You synergize as a married couple, which means that what you have together is greater than what you have separately. You synergize when both couples are living for each other's benefit. That's when you have a relationship, and that's what love does. It creates this beautiful thing and this beautiful atmosphere.
I love it.
There are times, and this is probably where the source of this is coming from, where abuse is going on. That means instead of me living for your benefit, I am using you at your expense for my benefit. So you can apply that physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever.
Say that again.
What did you say?
Say that one more time, because I want to type.
About abuse. Abuse is saying, I am living at your expense to better myself. So whatever that may be, that is, instead of living for another person's benefit, that is love, that is service, that is loving that person where they're at. You are saying, I am going to take what I need at your expense. And that can be emotionally, physically, sexually, spiritually. It can be all of those things. So in a case like that, sometimes the best and the most loving thing you can do for an abuser is to actually separate from that abuser.
Yes.
Here's why. Because most abusers will not change. And I speak because as a child, I experienced abuse, and I've seen abuse. So you have got to separate from your abuser. And that is one of the most courageous things that you can ever do. In that, an abuser rarely changes, but when they do change, you give them that opportunity to change when you no longer enable them to continue to take from you at your expense and to gratify themselves with it. Because what you then are teaching your abuser is that what you are doing isn't working, because they will continue to do what they do because it works for them. So the most loving thing you can do is to remove yourself from the abuser, because it gives them an opportunity to wake up and say, this isn't working and maybe I need to change. So that would be my advice. I always encourage couples to fight for the relationship, but there will be situations of abuse. Sure. And I speak to the abuse that are out there right now. You do not need to stay in a situation where it is abusive to you or your children. The most loving thing you can do, if you really love that other individual who is bringing abuse in your life, you will allow them the opportunity to wake up and say, what I'm doing isn't working, and to stop enabling them And that's the most loving thing that you can do.
I'm typing everything you're saying. So if you really love the abuser, allow them the opportunity to wake up and realize that they need to change. Wow. Okay. And while I'm typing that, I do want you to answer, you or Ken, to answer the question of someone. Celeste Johnson said that, hey, I am open to being married. What advice would you give to someone who is single, but that's open to being married?
Ken, you want to take this one? I kind of had the crack at the last one.
Well, here's what I would say. If you're open to being married, number one, I tell everybody, here's the thing, and I think Joel alluded to it. You cannot go, you have to be full yourself. A lot of times people go into relationships and they would say, I'm half full. This person is going to make me happy. Well, the truth of the matter is no one's going to make you happy. You know what? Being happy begets more happiness. So let me put it in this perspective. I always say this, and I teach all of my clients this. I say, before you ever get married, become the person you want to marry. Now, let me explain this. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, I have a client who says, I want a man who is physically fit, who has this six pack, and then she's not attracting that guy. And I said, listen, the problem that then she kind of got mad, but then she came back and said, you're absolutely right. I said, to attract that kind of man, you have to become that kind of woman. Now, understand that. I said, because science and spirituality and Christianity do not conflict. Everything that science says, God said it. They talk about the law of attraction. The law of attraction, God says, okay, confess it, believe it, receive it. Law of attraction says, if you think about it, you bring about it, okay? Same thing. Here's the problem. The problem is there's one little thing called work in the process that they don't do, okay? The Bible says faith without works is dead. What Christians do and a lot of people do is they don't want to do the work to become the people, to attract the people that they want. I say, listen, if you want a man who's going to treat you right, who's going to be caring, who's going to be generous, become that person. If you want a man who's physically fit, become physically fit. All right. And then when we become those, if you want to be married, act as if you're married. And what do I mean by that? I mean, what would you do? Who would you become if you're a married person? Become that person first. The marriage will come after it.
Hey, mic drop. I mean, that was so good. That was so good.
I heard the drop while I was typing. I was like,
I love that, Ken. One of the things that I began to practice as a single guy, and this will be helpful, is I started to say to myself, okay, in the end, I only want to be married once. So there is just one woman that I need to attract. And so I started to train myself and to do my own work. First of all, discovering who I am. But then secondly, I started only looking other females in the eyes, because you be checking out another girl and you're married, your wife is going to know, right? I mean,
right, absolutely
true thing. But if you want to attract the kind of woman that you want to marry, you better start now while you're single.
Yes.
And so you live your life now creating the habits. So when you do get married, you're already trucking on that line. I mean, I had friends that were girls and I went out on some dates, whatever, or some, friendly gatherings. I wasn't, breaking Amish, I was a young bachelor and I wanted to be married, but I always treated them the way that I would want my daughter to be treated. Mm-hmm. That one day I wanted to be the kind of guy that one day when I had a daughter, and I have an 8-year-old daughter, that I would be, as a father, would say, man, that's the kind of guy. He respects me. He respects my daughter. And so I put that into work before I ever had a potential young lady in my life. Right. And so when I met Casey, and man, I began to just fall in love with her. She was everything I had been looking for. I was all ready to go. I had the character inside of me, and I was ready to sweep her off her feet. And I didn't have to relearn a lot of things, or a ton of things. I had to learn a lot in marriage, but I didn't have to relearn some of the things that were already habitual were habits in my life. So that's one of the best things that you can do. Do your work. Start living, even when you're single, like how you want it to be.
Yes.
When you're married.
Absolutely.
Well, here, I will tell you that was great advice. And Professor Kiba Richmond Green, even though we weren't able to pull her into the broadcast for whatever the reason, she said she had an emergency situation. And so some technical things were happening. But she's still commenting right now on YouTube. And so I want to post all of her comments. She said, this is good information. She also said she said, happiness is a choice. You attract what you are. And she has a wealth of information. So I'll definitely be bringing Professor Kiba Richmond Green into another one of the panel discussions. She said she totally agrees with everything that you gentlemen are saying. And it's funny because I had the one female representation for today. So now everybody's like going to be like, how did she get all these men up there and didn't have us represented? I tried, ladies.
You tried, though.
Yeah, we're going to have lots of we'll have times when more panels are present as well. I just don't want to leave off without getting, since we had the technical difficulties, not giving my studio audience a chance to have their questions answered. Michaela said, what is the best advice? Okay, no. She said, name one tip that your wife does great to help other wives. What's a tip that your wife, both of your wives, yeah, great question, Michaela. Way to represent the women.
Yeah,
for me,
yeah.
My other way, and you got to understand, y'all see our videos, we're really raw. My other women, my wife tells other women, teaches other women how to take care of their man sexually. I mean, because the reality is, her thing is, listen, you got to. My wife just ran out of the room. But she does. So she teaches other women who are married, listen, sex is important to men, and that there are ways that you take care of your man, you communicate. But so that's the part of it, the sexual part of it. She's like, look, here's what you do. So maybe she, teaches class. I don't know what she does to them, but that's what she talks to them about.
I'm putting what you said. So right now you're her mouthpiece. If she wanted something.
Yes.
Ken's wife teaches women how to take care of their husbands sexually.
That's what she does.
Yeah. Guys, you definitely want to get them for a relationship coach.
That's exactly what she does.
If she's doing that she's doing you a major favor, all the guys out there.
Because listen, y'all, if a man is sexually frustrated, he doesn't hear anything else. You open the door, and from a spiritual perspective, you open the door for the side chick. You open the door for other things that can happen. And so what happens is, her thing is let me take this off your plate, even if she's mad at me. All right, because then I don't want to hear anything else. So the way men are wired, she's like, listen, let me take this part off the table. So that way. If he's not sexually frustrated or anything like that, then we can discuss other things. If you meet that part of his needs, so she's good with teaching other married women that.
Yeah, I would say Casey, she is if you're familiar with Enneagram, she's an Enneagram number 2, which is the helper. So she definitely will help in huge ways. She's a strong, brilliant, capable, boss babe. She's amazing, but she's oftentimes there to help fill in the gaps. And I think what she teaches women, and also guys, this as well, but specifically women, is to take care of yourself. That if you do your work, not just saying, hey, I'm gonna, do this and do that, but take care of yourself and work on yourself. Like, you may not be able to change what's going on in your spouse, your partner, your relationship, but you can change. And oftentimes the problem isn't most often with the other person. It's the way that you perceive the other person and the other circumstances. Indeed. So if there's one thing she brings, take care of yourself, do your work, do the head work, do the heart work, and take care of your body as well. And she's a powerhouse when it comes to that.
Wow. So let me type what Casey Johnson, Joel's wife, teaches women to take care of yourself, work on yourself, even if you can't change the other person. And then he said that he's trying to get brownie points. I'm going to put that too. Brownie.
Yeah, he is.
Well, hey, listen.
We gonna get brownies. My wife's gonna beat me up.
For
She already
Joel.
said
My wife
Well, listen, it takes a strong man
is
to
a
be able
powerhouse.
to handle a strong woman.
Say it again.
And my wife is a very strong woman, and I'm one of her biggest cheerleaders. So I encourage her, I push her out there, I cheer for her, and I feel like this is a co-partnership. Ultimately, I feel like I have a space in my family where I am the head servant. I think if you're a leader, you have to be the servant of all. You have got to be there to set the atmosphere, the culture, so that your family and your spouse can grow. So I am my kid's biggest cheerleader. I am my spouse's biggest cheerleader, because if they win, I win. If she gets a promotion at work, guess what? We share the same bank account. If she looks good, if she's able to grow and to become all that God has created her to be, guess who reaps the benefit? Her husband. And husband actually comes from the old term to be a husbandman of a garden. So I see myself, am I pulling out the weeds in my garden? Am I fertilizing? Am I investing? Am I creating the best environment for my family and my life to grow? And if I can do that, and if I cheer her on, it only benefits me and it benefits us. So be a strong man. Be the head servant. Get in there. And that doesn't always mean be a pushover. I'm talking about you've got to help guide and lead, but you've got to serve and listen and invest. And if you do that, I'm telling you, any man that is out there, you will have the greatest, most beautiful garden and family that you could ever imagine.
Well, this was a great episode, and aside from the technical difficulties, I think it was still just the best show it could possibly be. I can tell you guys that when I interview you and your spouses individually, there are so many more questions. Like, I can tell you a few of them right now. How do you really know your spouse? Are you okay with a woman having a sugar daddy? I think I saw that on your page. Are you okay with
I'm not surprised it was on my page. I'm not surprised.
That was definitely on your page.
I'm not
Are you
surprised.
okay with your woman having a sugar daddy? So when I interview you guys with you and your spouses, I can tell you that's a question. What is classified as cheating from your
perspective? That's in one of our questions.
Okay, because people want to know these answers. So, I mean, how do you reignite your love for one another? There's so many questions that came in. So I want to make sure, how do people have emotional connections? It's so many questions. So I'm going to have another panel discussion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to break it down for
we need some more ladies in here. I mean, today's show, you Kim, you have been, a cork swimming in a sea of testosterone. I mean, today's show can you feel the energy right now? I mean, it's a fantastic moment right now. It's tea time. Testosterone time. So when we come back, we'll bring a little bit, of a little more, less Y chromosome and more X's.
Yes. Well, Professor Kiba said the men represented, and she also said, laugh out loud. Yes, I have a session called The Power of Taking Care of Your Man.
That's what I was talking about.
She was over on YouTube, so for some reason I can put the YouTube comments and I couldn't put the Facebook comments. So I'm excited that, and she also said the Menergy, she loved that. So technically she still participated even with the technical difficulties. Thank you so much, Professor Green, for still making it happen some kind of way. And I thank all of you guys for tuning into today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. You men have been fabulous. One from a perspective of let's keep it raw and real and relatable, and one from, okay, guys, I want to make sure that we keep these marriages together and from a Christian background perspective and all of that. So it's like y'all gel together very well. And I know that both households are Christian based, and I'm excited about that. Is there any last comment that, wait a minute, a lot more comments came in. Fantastic guest and show, people said. Do they have any upcoming couple seminars after the pandemic? Yes, Shelby.
Yes,
You can go to,
got a lot of stuff coming up.
let me give you this is where you can go right now. They have some things that are available to you right
Join our mailing list. If you join our mailing list, you're going to get all of the stuff that we're going to be doing. I'm doing a coaching session with one of my business partners coming up 1st of June. If you come on my Facebook, the Grand Canyons Relationship Specialist, join that, like us. You'll look at my daily videos. We're going to be starting that in June, but it's going to be geared toward women to help them.
Before June, you'll be back on my show, though, you and Karen. So we're going to talk heavily about that program that's going to be kicking off in June.
Yes.
So everyone that's watching and asking questions about the Grand Canyons, that couple component, meaning Karen and Ken, will be on the show together, and they're going to be talking about a program they're releasing in June. And let's go to Joel Johnson and Casey Johnson. If you go to joeljohnson.org/date night, tell them about that.
I'm going to the date night.
Yeah. They're 3 free quarantine dates. You'll love them. Sign up for them. It'll put you on our mailing list. The dates are free. Ken doesn't know this, but I will also be joining him on his tour as a guest and traveling around. So you may see me out on the Canyons tour as well. And then Casey and we're working towards a marriage conference here in Charlotte in 2021. So get on our mailing list and we'll keep you up to date. Plus, you can always reach out to Ken, myself, Professor Green. All of us have opportunities to meet right like this or on a Zoom call. And we would love to help just invigorate your marriage, help them to grow healthy and strong.
This has just been a fantastic show. I definitely went a little longer because I kept trying to, do the glitch thing. So I want to make sure people know that every day, on Monday through Friday, from 12 to 12:30, which I'm in trouble, but from 12 to 12:30, we have a prayer line, and it's focusing on people that are dealing with this pandemic, the people that are shut in, those that are frontline workers, essential workers, people that have lost loved ones. It's a lot of different components to the prayer line that takes place at 978-990-5000. Access code is 322083. And on Monday through Friday, you can join our prayer line, and we welcome you to be a part of that. I definitely have to take a moment to let you know that this Friday, we are honoring our frontline workers. There could be mothers that are frontline workers, first responders, those that are working in the hospitals, the postal services, the grocery stores, these essential workers that they have to go to their jobs. And we are honoring them this Friday in honor of Mother's Day. So make sure, if you are interested, and even if you too are interested as well in honoring a mother that we would bring on, and I don't even know who all the mothers are yet, but we're going to honor 10 mothers. And if any of you are interested, then make sure that you can either Cash App your donation, and say if you Cash App $100 and it's not a fundraiser. So it's not, if you Cash App 100, Kim's keeping a portion of it. If you Cash App 100 is going to the various people that you designate the amounts that you want to go to each frontline worker. Okay.
That's
so
great.
You know that you can Cash App it to Kim Jacobs Inc. with the $ Kim Jacobs Inc. or PayPal. You can it's PayPal me/Kim Jacobs Inc. Or you can just send it right to Kim@thebalancedoctor.tv. Or some people want to wait until the show is live and want to start Cash Apping that individual. I'll tell them to tell their Cash Apps names as well. But that's this Friday at 11 o'clock. I need nominees for who should be honored, as well as who's going to be funding their honoring. So I need some people that's going to help provide just a contribution to say, hey, happy Mother's Day. And we're just thinking about you outside of you going out to work every day. So that's going to happen on Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Is there last comment between the two of you gentlemen?
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much, Kim, for doing it. We appreciate you.
You guys really represented I can tell you, Casey's going to be proud of you, Joel, and definitely
Karen's going to kill me. I can tell you that now. She already said it.
Casey's gonna love it when I show up with my pillow talk, questions. I'm gonna pull out that card and be like, "Hey,
Casey's gonna be like, where did you get this?"
Keep it real, keep it raw, keep it relational. That's what we're doing, yo.
And please take a moment later to go back and just respond on my page to my viewers. For all of those that tuned in today, lots of people are just celebrating you all, saying it's a great show, great information, all kinds of stuff that people are saying just to celebrate you guys representing so nicely today. So
thank you so much.
All right, everyone.
Appreciate you, Joel. Let's connect. Joel, let's connect after this. Thank you.
For sure.
Meeting you, okay? All right.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Everybody have a great day. Tune in tomorrow for Cake, Coffee, and Conversations with Linda Allen. And that is going to be a powerful time tomorrow, lady. Linda Allen is Cake, Coffee, and Conversations. So get your cup of tea and sit back. Tell your wives to tune in tomorrow. Yes, you can get your cup of tea or coffee or just get your hydration. Biggest loser over there. You don't have to get cake, coffee, or anything. Just get some kind of hydration and tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. on the Kim Jacobs Show. God bless you all and have a good one. Bye-bye, everybody.